A common question, this one in Allie's words, is when doing projects like the one we're doing now, how long does it normally take to get to the final product? And does it always turn out the way you expected it to be? If not, what do you need to do to fix it?
Okay, so the amount of time you take doing the design thinking process can really vary depending on what it is that you're designing and what context it's in. Like for something like a school project, you could stop it here, I guess. But let's see, like you could apply the design thinking process to something small, like a little feature within a larger product. So if you were doing something like that, I mean, it's possible that you could go through a few stages of, of the design thinking process and prototyping and testing and stuff like in a few weeks, and then maybe launch like a digital feature in an app. But I don't know. I mean, you can also apply the design thinking process to something like the design of a phone or a vehicle, and like that could take years. So it really depends. The second part, asking about does it always turn out the way you would expect? Um, it doesn't. The design thinking process, like that's the cool thing about it. It makes the outcome pretty open-ended. So even if you have a somewhat clear idea of what you think you're going to design in order to meet your users' needs, you might like interview them and do a bunch of exercises and find out that like you need to change your plan, and what you were originally proposing wasn't quite the right idea and you need to pivot. So so if you do find that it leads you like away from your original idea, that's a good thing, and maybe you don't need to fix it.
Hmm, interesting. Another question that came up a few times, this one in Riley's words, is how do you know when your prototype is finished? And are you always working to improve it even after the final product is completed?
Good question. Um, you don't always know when the prototype is finished. A lot of times, I mean, especially in the professional world, you can feel like your design is not finished yet, but you have to meet a certain deadline. So it's like maybe you're going to have to release something that's not perfect. Um, the cool thing is for digital products, like if you're doing an app or a website, like it's easier to update that even after you've already released the final product. Like you can just push a new update or like update the website. It's not a big deal. It's a lot harder if you're designing a physical product to do that.
Are you always working to improve it even after the final product is completed?
Oh, yes. Ideally, yes. Although I will say in the professional world, sometimes like management or whoever is in charge will be like, okay, we did it. That's the product. It's out there. Like, we're good. But if you really want to make a successful design and like do what's best for your users, and like sometimes it's what's best for the company too, you should push for continuing to improve the product even after it's released or deemed final. Like um, continue to conduct user testing on something even once it's out in the market, because then that'll help to inform what the next version of that product is, or maybe like your company wants to do a new product, and you can take some of the things that you learned from that one and apply it to the next thing.